Our children watch us in shame and anger. Because children aren't stupid. Children recognize powerlessness the same way they recognize love or an absence of it. Children aren't stupid. And they watch us in shame because they know that we're lying about who we are and the kind of power we have and what kind of decisions we make, because they have a very macro analysis of this world. They see the big picture. And our little pictures don't confuse them. And then they're angry also because they're getting lied to. They're being told something by people who are supposed to be their greatest defenders and people who love them more than anybody else. But they know that these people are lying to them, and they become angry as they become older. I had a quote here the other day, in fact yesterday and the day before, that talked about that, and I want to read it again. It's from Francis Cress Welsing, and it talks about the outcome of such a situation. And Francis Cress Welsing, in the ISIS paper, she says, black people as a collective are becoming increasingly sophisticated. Well, that's the former paragraph. Let me read what I'm supposed to be reading. Black children are our most valuable possession and our greatest potential resource. Any meaningful discussion of the survival or the future of black people must be predicated upon black people's plans for the maximal development of all black children. Children are the only future of any people. If the children's lives are squandered, and if the children of a people are not fully developed at whatever cost and sacrifice, the people will have consigned themselves to a certain death. They will be destroyed from within by the attack of their own children against them, and they may be destroyed by both. Again, children are stupid. They are this and they are this because they see our fear. They see our fear of standing. They see our fear of being independent. And they will play with us as long as we give them things, but once those things start coming, then they tend to vent their anger against us, which I would argue is the correct thing to do. We're supposed to be their model. We're supposed to be the model of what they are, where they're going, and what they're supposed to be like. Not only are we supposed to be their model of whatever career, what kind of character we're supposed to have, we're supposed to be their model of power and the exercise of power. So when they see us compromised, then they question what we're saying. And they, of course, question themselves because they don't want to grow up to be people who have to compromise. They want to be able to say and do what it is that they want to say and do. Okay. Now we're going to flip to the other side, the other people. Because up to now we've been talking about the people who are full of fear. Now we want to talk about that group of individuals who we claim to be, who are African warrior scholars. Those people who call themselves Safo. Those people who call themselves Ketu. Those people who call themselves Jegna. These are the kind of people we're trying to talk about now, because this is the model we're supposed to have if we're going to be independently African. That's what we're talking about. The people who are talking this and thinking this and doing this. Some people say that African warrior scholars have a choice. That we have a choice. That African warrior scholars have a choice. And there are really three central ones. We can, because we are so intelligent, and because we know so much about our African traditions, and we know so much about what Europeans are about, and because we are so knowledgeable, we can blend in and not create any kind of chaos or not have people be attracted to us because of what we're doing. We can just blend in and continue to be African and not be penalized for that. Or we can become, and this is one of the more popular ones, because it still allows Europeans to remain at the center of our thinking, and it still allows Europeans to remain at the center of power, because we're still begging them to become more human or begging them to like us. We can become emissaries. to Europeans. We can become the representatives of African people to them to show them how good and how human we are. And show off our African attire, and show off our African hair, and show off our African books, and show off our African traditions, and bring them over to Kwanzaa and African dance and drumming so that they can see that we're good people and they shouldn't be treating us the way that we're treating. That's also a posture of begging. That's also a posture of begging. We're taking care of other people's children where our children need our assistance. We're taking care of other people's women where our women need assistance. We're taking care of other people's men where our men need assistance. We take care of home first. And of course, there's the last one, which is sort of a compromise. We can move back and forth between black and white, depending upon what the situation calls for, or based on opportunity. So an opportunity is good on that side, we run there. Opportunity is good on this side because it's more meaningful or more productive or more profitable to be black than we be black. But when it's more profitable to be a Negro than we be a Negro. And we use the excuse that that will allow us to accumulate the things that we need to be more African. However, I would argue that this is not true. I want you to think about these options. I want you to recognize that this is not true. African warrior scholars have no option. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. None of those three things apply to warriors. We don't have a choice. We made a promise to our ancestors to be them and model them for our children. We made a promise. We made a promise. We swore to not commit treason against who? Can't hear you.
Ancestors.
Our ancestors. We swore not to commit treason against our ancestors. We said we loved ourselves. We said we loved ourselves first. We said that we were nationalists. We said that African people in a Pan-African way is the center of our being. Nothing else is more important than that. And that's something that we can't compromise. So we don't have a choice. We swore. We took an oath, a blood oath. Said we are our own priority. Anything less, makes us less than African. We don't have a choice. We don't have an option. We shouldn't want to have a choice. We shouldn't want to have an option. Nothing is too difficult for people who want to stand, who know how to stand. That isn't an option for us. If any choice remains, then that means that you haven't chosen to be African. Because once you've chosen to be African, then all those other choices are removed. So if any choice remains, that means that you haven't chosen to be African. You cannot be both. There is no cultures do not fit. We cannot fit. Their interests and our interests are diametrically opposed. We are in a state of, wow, surprise, surprise, war. And if you're in a state of war, then the only compromise means that you are a traitor, that you are a spy. There is no gray area.